Hey guys, Adam Ray here for the About Last Night podcast. Hope you had a great frickin' weekend. Sorry for cursing. Congratulations to my Seattle Storm for women winning their fourth WNBA title. Unbelievable accomplishment. Sue Bird, my girl, is a goddamn legend, and the whole squad that represents the Seattle Storm is holding down the basketball fort in Seattle. And it's just fun to watch. They play solid, fun, up-tempo basketball. And I'm looking to see them do it again next year. Today's episode is a special episode. A guy you wouldn't think I'd normally get the chance to talk to. You know, I'm a casual UFC fighting fan. MMA. I love the Saturday social get-together hang that those fights provide. But I know enough about it to watch and get excited and understand the work that goes into these things. And I'm fascinated, quite honestly, by people that dedicate themselves to that sport and thrive at a high level. Like today's guest, the great Chuck Liddell, who is a fucking pioneer for this sport and one of the first true superstars. Man, we covered everything from how he got into the UFC and MMA, wrestling in college up in San Luis Obispo, becoming one of the biggest stars in the sport, how he got his nickname, the Iceman, his first few fights, training, crazy fan stories, movies, TV shows, dad life. He's a big dude with a big heart, and couldn't have had more fun doing it. And we're using this episode, which is why I wanted to put in a little special intro, as a pilot episode for a potential podcast that Chuck and I may do together. So please hit us up on Twitter, DM me on Instagram, Facebook. Let me know how you like this episode, and if it was something that fancied your ears enough that you would want to hear a weekly show between Chuck and I, bullshitting, breaking down fights, having guests on, and causing some, a ruckus of funny and fights, right? It was fun. Chuck's an easy guy to talk to and has a lot to offer in this world. So let us know what you think about it. Again, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, shoot me a message, tweet at us, Adam Ray Comedy, at Chuck Liddell, and maybe we'll do some more of these, huh? I'm going to Australia on Thursday for a month to shoot a TV show for NBC. I can hopefully say what it is soon. I'm very excited. No tour dates on the books as of now, but stay tuned for that. Of course, my album, Read the Room and Songs for the People, still available on Amazon, Spotify, and iTunes. I will be coming out with a crowdwork album live from Vegas, hopefully before the end of the year. Stay tuned for that. And Doug Unplugged, coming out on Apple TV from Dreamworks Animation, a cartoon that I'm a voice on, coming out, I think, November 11th or 17th on Apple TV. Doug Unplugged. Stay tuned for that. All right? Now that we got the tour dates, Twitter handles, and merch info out of the way. Oh, merch. That's right. Go get all your Adam Ray and About Last Night podcast merch at adamraycomedy.com and get your hoodies, your hats, your beanies, your shirts, your sweats. Lots of fun, cool shit over there. Go get it. AdamRayComedy.com. Now that we got the tour dates, Twitter handles, and merch info out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy a brand new episode of the About Last Night podcast with the one and only Chuck Liddell.
Hey, it's Herbert. And you're listening to the About Last Night podcast, you slippery little son of a bitch. About last night.
Well, first of all, welcome to the pilot episode of the Chuck and Adam fucking
podcast. Not sure what we're going to call it.
Not sure we're going to call you a podcast?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. That's the one thing, and you can probably speak to this, like coming up with a title for a show, I feel like is like coming up with a title for a nickname, right? Which I don't know if you were given yours or did you?
Mine was given mine, yeah.
It was.
John Hackelman started calling me that. John's one of those guys, people know my trainer, John Hackelman.
Yeah.
it's one of those guys. Like I think he does it so it's easier for him to remember names.
Right.
Because he gives everybody a nickname.
Yeah.
You know, so guys, everybody at the gym, all the guys.
Guys are great with that too. Guys are just like T-Dog. It's like fucking Trevor. We'll just like, and girls are more like it's Slutty Christy or like Bitchy Susie. Like, but guys really are quick to label like a dude something other than who they are.
Yeah. Well, if it's something that fits, it's
Something
usually,
that fits,
it's usually got something. There's a reason for it. It's a joke. It's an inside joke of some sort, or it's. And I think John's was just he got nervous before every fight, and he had like 200 amateur fights.
Yeah.
He had I think 20 pro boxing fights, 40 some odd pro kickboxing fights.
Most people would get nervous before fights. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like my third or fourth fight. We were fighting in Strongbow Arena in Bakersfield.
Oh wow.
And they had 14 fights on the card, and I was one of the last fights, or maybe even the last fight, but I was one of the last fights.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'll come back in. And we had to get there at like 5. He's like, I'll come back and tape you around 8:30. Tape your hands.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And I was bored. Like I just decided, okay, to pass the time. He came looking for me at 8:30. So to pass the time, I decided to go sleep in a corner.
What?
Well, I was sleeping on a tie. He found me.
Just curled up in a ball
I left.
crying?
He thought I got nervous and left.
Oh, shit.
Or something. Like it happens. Guys do that at that level.
If you have enough downtime to think about what you're about to do.
Sometimes every once in a while, the people have done that. People have had nervous, I mean, I won't name any names, but I know a couple professional fighters.
I will. Randy Couture, you fucking know.
No, that actually had
too many nerves.
Stress.
Yeah.
They stressed out too much and didn't fight. Like actually didn't fight in the UFC.
Even with millions on the line, just
with all those people watching. But it happened. So he's looking for me everywhere. So he's like, oh no, like what happened?
Yeah.
And then he found me sleeping. I was out in a corner, and he's like, man, I mean, you're the Iceman. You're just like you just never get nervous, do you? I'm like, no, why? I like fighting.
Yeah.
So.
Have you always been like that, or is that like in just everyday life, like for tests?
I tried. It's funny you say that. You're the first person that ever said that. I always liken it to I was a really good test taker. Because I would stress and nervous and study right up to the minute I close the books.
Over prepare,
As soon as I close the book, I'd relax because I figured there's nothing else I can do. Being nervous about why am I worried about it? And I just start spitting out my stuff, and I'd be relaxed and calm when I'm doing it, and your brain works better calm when you're all stressed out, going, you're like, oh, I can't remember that. I'd be like, oh. Okay, let's go. Let's do the test now,
dude.
I can't study anymore. My thing was being nervous is not going to help me anymore.
Yes,
and I can't study anymore, so that part's done. So I'm really good at compartmentalizing things. So that part is done. It is time to take the test, and there's nothing I can do taking the test. But
you've done what you can do, right?
I've done what I can do and do the best. I actually did once. I had a physics test. It was pretty funny because afterwards the teacher comes up, have you ever thought about doing physics?
Whoa. The last thing I would say to you.
But he didn't know the last 11 problems on there was multiple choice. And I didn't have time to do the calculations because I took too long doing the beginning part of it. I just went through and I read the problem.
Yeah.
Made an educated guess which one the answer would be. Got 10 out of 11. I mean, some of that had to be luck. But I mean,
yeah, I was going to say, how many did you just guess C on?
But it was funny, But that kind of, I've always had that kind of. I relax when I take tests. I relax.
Did you have parents or friends that instill that in you, or did that just like?
I don't know where. I don't know where that comes from. You wonder where it came from. I don't know. I think, I think it came from. A lot of it comes from my mom, my grandfather. It was always like
they were chill.
They're really chill. And just go out there and do your best. I don't care what happens. Just go out and do your best. That was always the thing. It was always just, if you give me 100% effort and do everything you can do out there, and so sports or
and
whatever.
know that you did that, then why are you going to sweat it, right?
Then that's the best you can do. There's no more, you can't do anymore, right? Wow. You can only give so much. So, for me, like, it's like fight week. Fight week was one of my favorite times because all I got left is make weight. and relax and have fun with my friends. And I'm working out 45 minutes a day just to stay, just to keep it going. So
Are the workouts more fun when it's fight week because you feel like you've done all the prep?
Well,
and
it's all done. I mean, really, all the hard work's done.
Yeah.
My last sparring day was a week ago. Like, I'm just kind of moving around. I did a little bit of light sparring, touch sparring stuff, but it's just fun, and I like that stuff too. But and you're getting excited and get ready for the fight. And
picking out like your socks and shit like that you're going to take off before the fight. Like, did you have a routine that was, because you sound so just like diligent about everything. It was like, I'm going to do this, then do this.
I didn't. I mean, I had certain things that I did as a habit, but I didn't have any of those like weird things. Like if I didn't do this, I'm not going to do that.
Right. No superstitions.
No superstitions where I have to do this or that's going to happen. It's like,
you don't have like a lucky cock ring or something like that you sniffed before each fighter?
No, I definitely didn't have one that I sniffed. That would be a little weird.
Because those are the things that like, you heard about like lucky, socks or, Wade Boggs used to drink beers before certain games and said that contributed to his success. So people like yourself that had so much success in their sport, it's like when you hear about something that they did, like Lamar Odom used to eat candy before basketball games. Marshawn Lynch obviously like ate Skittles. There was nothing like a meal even that you had like.
No, I mean I went out with my friends the night before. We went out. I think John was always real adamant that I only had sex once the night before, no more.
What?
And she did all the work.
It
was like, look, John used to tell me, he's one of his things was, because I never was into that not have sex before a fight kind of thing. But he's like, look, I was fighting once a month at one point in my career. So what, am I never going to have sex?
Yeah, I know.
He's like, no, he's not going to happen. So I truly believe that old saying or old thing about it came from, they don't want you carousing, going out and looking for women, going out and chasing, and that was back. It started back when guys were going out drinking and smoking and picking up girls, and they don't want you doing that. They want you at home sleeping and training,
containing your energy.
Right.
Like, was there ever did they ever say, hey, dude, Chuck, we can't have you coming too much before the fight because you got to save some of that energy?
Yeah, you always had somebody saying that. There was always someone coming around saying that, and I'm like, but. I give him my spiel about it, and John agreed with me. So
now,
we're in agreement. So
to hear you say, by the way, that you just the mindset of I did what I can do, and there's nothing else I can do, and you just have to trust that you put in the work is something that I think I can speak for myself and a lot of people I know is easier said than done because everybody second guesses, or I know when I was taking tests, like even the SATs, I'd be like, oh, cat is to kitten as, dog is to puppy, futon, or fucking dildo. And I'd be like, well, it's probably puppy, but it could be, you know what I'm saying? So I always second guess, but it's really, impressive that you just had this like, all right, I'm going to do that and not to psych yourself out of the added stress, which obviously in a sport, like all that extra anxiety is what eventually takes some people out of it, like you said.
100%. And I think it causes it wastes a lot of energy nights before fights.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Did you have someone that you talked to that like your trainer John? First of all, how did you meet him? Like,
that's an old story, long story.
Because you probably audition guys once you decide that you're going to get into it.
No, it actually, I kind of fell into. Oh, good. Of course, my phone's blowing up.
It's all good. We might as well just.
But I actually did it's a really kind of funny story. The whole thing. I've been through it, like the way I started kickboxing.
Yeah.
You ever hear any of that stuff? Like,
no.
How I started kickboxing altogether. Okay, Alfie Alcaraz wrestled the wrestler at Cal Poly with me when we were young, and I started teaching him how to kick.
How young?
18. I think I was 19. He was 18 when he came to Cal Poly.
Okay.
And he wrestled there a couple years, and then he left and went back to Vegas, and he wanted to learn how to. And he had boxed before, but he wanted to learn how to kick when he was with me. So I teach him how to kick, and we were doing some karate stuff while we were on the wrestling team together.
So real quick, just so everybody, because I think people listening to this as we get going are going to be just. There's so many stories and anecdotes and moments that you probably have, and I want to make sure that we don't skip over like the things that got you into this. So when you were a kid, like let's say like 8-year-old Chuck, are you a big kid? Are you like, can people tell that this is about to be what you're going to grow into?
I don't think so, but
okay.
I was able to fight. My grandpa taught me how to fight when I was young. When I was really young, I was being bullied at school. I was getting beat up. They were actually taking my lunch money, which is kind of funny when you talk about it.
Yeah, that's so joked about. Like it is.
But it was one of those things. I was told by my mom I wasn't allowed to fight, and I listened. But these kids would fight me. They would come beat me up.
They wouldn't just take your money. They'd
have to. Well, I would make them take it. They had to. I wasn't going to give it to them. I had actually to think back about that now. That's kind of. It's not theirs. I wasn't giving it to them, but I wasn't allowed to fight, so I wouldn't fight back. So they have to take it from me, and I was getting beat up. And thank God it was back in the day, because it's not like today how it is. Because the principal went to my mom and said, "Call my mom," and she says, "I asked your son why he lets these kids beat him up, and he said you won't let him fight back." And I love what you're trying to do with your nonviolence thing, but I can't watch this guy ever. I can't watch him all the time. I can't
right out my window, and it's really a bummer.
I really can't watch this happen, and I can't protect him all the time. So you got to let him defend himself.
Whoa!
And
who's that principal? Do you remember him?
God, I can't think of his name right now. I'll get it for you. I gotta look at it.
He's a hero.
Yeah, but my mom went to me and said, "Hey, okay, you need to learn how to defend yourself, but you can't start a fight, but you're allowed to finish it." And so,
please make that T-shirt with your mom's face on it.
yeah. So she sent me to my grandfather, and he was from Brooklyn and a pretty tough guy, and he went the army, and then he was a cop. He was retired as a sheriff's coroner.
Oh wow!
And then
so he'd seen his fair share of action.
Yeah, and so he started teaching me how to fight, and I learned how to throw some straight punches, and the rest is history as far as fighting goes.
But I mean, like, at what point do you go? Does he show you a few moves, and then he's just like, all right, I think you're ready? Because, like, I feel like even just learning, once you're in the moment, and the kids that day when you're like, fuck, they're probably coming for it. Like, do you just psych yourself up, or on the bus that day?
That long ago, I don't even remember. I think I was just so happy to be able to fight back, because at that
so
point,
once they give you the green light,
they gave me the green light to fight back. I was just like, oh, let's go. All right, I got to hit somebody back.
Do you remember the first fight back?
I don't, but I don't remember. That's so long ago. But it's one of those things. I never had a problem after that. I was always the toughest kid in my school. I was always the guy that I started doing karate when I was 12. Now,
did you have this goatee when you were 12?
No, I did.
That would add to the intimidation.
No, I did not. That helped.
It'd be great if you were like, people didn't bother me. I was 6, 8 in the 5th grade. Okay, so you start getting that. It's self-defense, but there's got to be at some point the fun factor, right? And
it became fun. I liked it, and I look back now, because I didn't even think about it back in the day, because I used to love fighting people for somebody, like
defending your friend's honor.
Hey, I didn't have to be my friend and say, hey, that guy don't want to fight you, but I will. And they'd be like, oh, I got no problem with you. You kind of do now.
Oh my God!
Because I said I figured out when I was about 21, 22. I figured out that
you could bully the bully.
Well, but I know about 21, 22, because I always said I never started a fight.
Right.
But I realized about 21, 22, I never let you out of it real easy either. So, I mean, you put me in a position where I could fight you. And I always let you walk away. You always had that option. I'm not hitting a guy while he's trying to run away from me.
Right.
But I wouldn't give you an easy way to walk away from me without looking like the biggest pussy in the room.
Gotcha.
You'd have a choice. And a lot of guys took the choice of, I'll look like a pussy, I'm out of here. Because a lot of guys.
Was there a face you'd make or something you'd say?
The way I just look at it, usually it was just, what the fuck do you say?
Yeah, that'll do it. I just fucking pissed a little bit. Jesus Christ.
And usually that was it. And I was actually, I had gave a lot more leeway than a couple of my buddies I grew up with, where if I said that to you, you got, whoa, this is the only answer that can get you punched.
Yeah.
Anything else come out of your mouth, you're getting hit.
I'm just kidding. There's nobody there. Hey guys, comedian Adam right here. Hope you're enjoying this episode of the About Last Night podcast. Boy, I gotta tell you, I've been feeling good lately. And the reason why? Koi CBD. That's right. Back in the game. Feeling like my best self. Look, Koi CBD is the best CBD company in the business. I don't care what you hear from other people, other comics, Koi CBD. See, I got so much BBD, CBD inside me, I ain't even fucking talking right. You know why? Because I slept well on the Koi CBD gummies. That's right. They've got everything from tinctures to bath bombs to gummies. They got a skincare line coming soon. They got hand sanitizer. During these times, it's very important. So, what you want to do, if you want to start feeling like your best self, you want to take some Koi CBD bombs, put them in the bath, okay? What? Yeah, come on in. Jackson, I'm doing an ad for my podcast. Can you say hi?
Hello.
Say, I use CBD gummies.
I eat CBD gummies.
From Koi.
From Koi.
Koi's the best.
Koi the best.
It makes me feel good.
It makes me feel good.
I feel like my best self.
I feel my best self.
Look at these muscles.
Look at these muscles.
Kiss them. If you get Koi CBD right now, you go to koicbd.com, promo code AboutLastNight, and you get 20% off your first order. That's incredible. Bath bombs, tinctures, skincare, hand sanitizer, gummies. They've got everything. They're my favorite. It's who I use. So start using it for you too. I can't recommend these guys enough. They're homies and all this shit works. Jackson, say 20% off.
20% off.
If you use the promo code AboutLastNight.
If you use the print code after night.
About last night.
About last night.
Show them those guns again. Kiss them. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
It's so funny. Everybody had a buddy like that. Like even in elementary school, we had a kid named Morgan Nielsen that was the biggest kid that we knew at that time. But he could say and look at you in a way that made you just fucking back down or change the way you were behaving because he just knew, and he didn't like abuse the power, but he flexed it for better.
Yeah, no, for me, I always had that. Even when I was younger, no one knew who I was. I didn't have a goatee. I had no mohawk.
What about any teachers ever step up to the plate and be like, "Yo, Liddell, like a fucking," you're like, "All right, Mr. Johnson, you teach math. I'm gonna."
But I never had a problem with those people because
Right.
it's almost like I never had a problem with people because I'm not starting fights. I'm not picking on people.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, if you're not. You know, if anybody I got in a fight with, they're like, "Oh, I understand why you got in a fight with that guy."
Right.
You know,
So then you start to become what, more interested in what, boxing, kickboxing?
I know. I wanted to do martial arts. When I was 12 years old, I was watching Kung Fu theater, and they had these demonstrations in between of these guys doing this breaking boards and doing all this crazy stuff. And I thought, I really thought, if I go to karate, I can learn some magic. I can beat everybody up. I can beat anybody.
That's so dope.
That's
the dream as a kid.
And so, it took me a couple years to talk my mom into it. And she finally, when I was 12, she let me start taking karate. And luckily we found a style where they taught old school traditional, like, here, go over here, do this punch 500 times.
Jesus.
And then switch sides and do it the other side 500 times. Now we'll look at it. Now make some adjustments, and they do it again. And
just to develop discipline.
Yeah, to discipline and to teach you. But for me, I needed that. Like I was real ADD as a kid, and I used to say stuff. My teacher would say something. I never pay attention to stuff. But that taught me how to focus. It was easier to learn how to, because I wanted it so bad. I wanted to learn these magic moves, and I kept waiting. You start out. And a lot of people, about 3 to 6 months in, they figure there's no real magic to this. It's just hard work and learning technique.
Yes.
And most people quit at that point at our school. That was a 1-year contract, but most people quit right in there 3 to 6 months when they figured out that, there's no magic to this. It's just, you actually just have to be
hard work and discipline and habits.
But for me, I actually looked at it like, wait, you mean the harder I work at this, I can pass that guy? I can get better than that guy over there? Wow. I can keep getting better? So the harder I work, translate. And they used to come to me like in the summers, like, do you have a house? Do you have a home? Get out of here. Go do something else.
You were just a gym rat. Yeah.
I sit at the gym because we were allowed to be there all day. And I'd sit there with my bag next to me and wait for guys to come in. Hey, you want to spar when you get done, when you're warmed up? Yeah.
They're like, dude, it's 5 a.m.
They're like, yeah, okay, sure. I'm like, okay, perfect. I'll just warm back up again. And I just sit there and I wait again until another guy came in.
You're like Larry Bird, who wouldn't leave the gym until he shot like 500 free throws and swished them all.
Right.
You just loved it.
But I just love, and I look at a lot of things about people that are really good at what they do, and that's really what it is. I mean, I look back because you don't think about it when you're doing it. Like I used to go to wrestling. I used to go to karate during wrestling season. Like I go to wrestling practice, then karate.
Wow.
I go during football season. I go to football. I think I only missed on Fridays, which was kata day. Sorry, karate people, but it was kata day. I was a kid. I like kata now, but back then, didn't mind missing it. So Friday was perfect. Football played Friday night, so I couldn't really go. I couldn't go to practice. I had to miss. Sorry, I had to miss kata.
So what's kata?
Just forms,
gotcha.
Old school. Like those
See,
guys
I was a white belt in Taekwondo. I know you can tell, and I know you're. As soon as I came in, Yeah. I did. Yeah. Getting a white belt, by the way, in Taekwondo, just for those of you listening, that's the belt they give you when you sign up. So there was nothing achieved. But again, just to share a similar experience, seeing those guys that fucking wanted it and were dedicated, I knew on the flip side of what you had a passion for, I was like, oh, this is not for me, because I saw all the work it took, and you just go, oh, like there's other things that I think I like. Basketball, right? That was like was karate for you, but you gotta probably appreciate the fact that and your mom probably did, of the things that you were not distracted by because you were so focused on that, right? Like there was probably never an opportunity to get caught up in mischief or any sort of bullshit, because I don't know if she dangled it over, like if you stay out too late or you do drugs, you can't go.
I never had that problem. I didn't drink till I was 21.
Wow.
So but I never had any problems with any of that. But that's because I was always, I had something coming up. If it wasn't karate, it was wrestling, football. I always felt like I thought,
busy.
And for me, mentally, it was just like, this is not going to help me get where I want to be. That's something that's not going to help me. It's going to take away from my sport. It's going to take, and that was big to me. My sport was always.
So once you really start getting into it, and you're like, oh, I can pass this guy. Does somebody lay out for you what's possible in this world, or do you just go, I'm going to just put my head down and keep working and see what happens?
I just kept doing stuff, and honestly, like I used to say in high school, like, you know what really sucks is I can't make money doing what I'm really good at. And I was talking about street fighting, because there was no UFC back then. This was 80. I graduated in 88, so there was no. So I went off. So I was wrestling. I went off and wrestled in college. And when I was finished wrestling, and this is where we get to the Alfie story. So now I've been working with Alfie. He goes out to Vegas and goes to the gym, and he meets One Kick Nick out there, and he's learning kickboxing. And Alfie, I think, became world champion at one point in kickboxing. He fought in UFC, a few times. But he was, at that time, he would have been a small 135 pounder. He would have been a good 125 pounder. Yeah. And he was, at that time, the lowest weight was 150 or 155, whatever it was. And so, but anyway, I went out to go watch him fight. Right? So I'm going out to watch him fight, and we're going to weigh-ins, and I'm at the weigh-ins, and Nick comes over to me. I don't know Nick. Now I know him real well. We're good friends. But at that time, I had no idea who this guy was. He says, hey, I'm Alfie's trainer. I'm promoting this event. Alfie says you're pretty tough. You want to fight tomorrow night?
What?
I go, sure, why not? Let's do it.
Now fight kickboxing?
Kickboxing. So this
Had you done it yet?
Never.
You'd wrestled and done karate.
Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll try it. I've been fighting my whole life.
And that's kind of you've always been like that, where you're like, I'll try it because
why not? I liked it. I love fighting. Well, this is interesting. I thought for a second. I'm like, okay, why not? Screw it. Let's do it. So we go to weigh in, and they go to weigh me in, and I weigh in, and the commission goes, okay, so how many fights do you have? I'm like, I never fought before.
Yeah.
And they looked at Nick and goes, I mean, the guy who was going to have me fight was 15-0. I was filling in for the main event. He's like, the commission's like, this ain't going to happen. But so it didn't happen. So I was a little bummed, and I'm like, I go to him.
Now you wanted it more, probably.
I'm like, hey, and I was kind of bummed out about, oh man. He's like, you know what? I'm doing another fight in 3 months or so. Go home and start training, and I'll bring you out for a fight. I'll get you an opponent. So okay, cool. So by chance, I'd met John Hackelman that week. Just met him. And at a gym, old karate school I used to train at, they called me in because they had a black belt coming in to spar with everybody. And they needed someone to spar him because they wouldn't have done well. But they didn't have anybody.
That matters, right? To have somebody
and I'm one of these guys. And they wanted me to come in and spar with this guy. And it was just, okay. So I came in to spar with this guy, and we did like wall training without hitting to the face. Mm-hmm. We did some open sparring, and he was kicking my ass. Like I thought he was beating me. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but like
what was going through your head?
I know. I'm like, man, this is pretty awesome. This guy's good, man. So I got his card. We're in the back, right? When he was leaving, and he said, yeah, if you want to ever come train, let's do it. So this is the week before I went out to Vegas. So I got to Vegas, and it's in my wallet, is his card. So I'm driving home from Vegas after watching Alfie's fight, And I'm looking at this card. Hey, it says world champion kickboxer on here. I should go train with this guy.
Wow.
So I go up to his house. I call John. I call him up and say, come to John. Him and his buddy Jesus Sanchez come up. We go up to his house, and we walk up these stairs, and he had this little gym at the top of his place, right? We get there. He throws me boxing gloves and says, let's just do boxing sparring to start. Like,
see what your hands are like, right?
Okay, and I'm like, I've never done just hands in my life. But we said, okay, let's start. So we start boxing, and he was a pro boxer. He had 200 amateur boxing matches.
Fuck.
You know, he handed me my ass. He beat the living piss out of me.
Took your lunch
for
money.
about 19 straight minutes.
Fuck.
Finally, Jesus
That's
Sanchez,
a long time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A 3-minute beatdown sucks.
Jesus Sanchez finally goes, hey, can we just train? I think got tired of seeing me get hit.
Yeah.
Like, but you know, now that I know John, I mean, I think John was impressed because I didn't go down, number one, because he drops people all the time. And
so you just stayed in the pocket.
I stayed there. I stayed there and banged. I didn't know any better. Yeah, we're sparring. Let's go.
Because you have to
That's
tell
how I
yourself,
felt.
you're like, I haven't been here before, so what can I control? It's like you can't expect that you're going to beat somebody like that, right?
No.
That's got 200 plus fights under their belt.
Well, I didn't know about all that till later.
Okay.
I knew I'm going up to train with this guy that had world kickboxing champion and this thing.
So you're just like, stay on your feet, huh?
So just stay there and go. Let's go. And we went and we kept sparring. I kept training and whatever. And then we went down afterwards, and you know, then we trained and hit the bags and stuff, and then we went down, and it was raining, and I came up on a motorcycle. It just started to rain. I wasn't expecting it to rain. So and I'm like getting on my bike. So hey, you coming back tomorrow? I said, yeah, sure. You want me training tomorrow? Okay, then here, take my keys. I'm like, oh no, I'm good. I can take my bike. No, push your bike into the garage. Take my truck, and a brand new truck. Just threw me his keys. Said, see you tomorrow. Drove off. Went up to his. Probably for the next 5-7 years, we were at his house 6 days a week.
Holy shit.
And then the reason I wasn't after that was because we both had opened gyms after that. But
Yeah.
at some point.
Wow.
But-
So 5 to 7 years of that, and then you're like, this is now my path. Yeah.
Well, I was doing kickboxing, and we were going along, and it actually gotten to the point where I'd actually talked about, and we were talking to John, I was like, you know, if we don't want to really take this further, like I'm probably going to go get a real job. My grandma's giving me a hard time, and you know, I got a degree in accounting, and I was just kickboxing
From St. Louis Obispo.
Yeah, Cal Poly. Yeah.
Cal Poly. Yeah.
So I was kind of like, I love this life, but I'm bartending and you know, kickboxing. At
some point, you got to make a choice.
I got to move on. You know, I'm gonna have to move on. And I probably would have still done it on the side. I would have done martial arts the rest of my life.
Probably taught it at some point.
But I mean, it was something where I thought I was thinking about that.
And this is at what age?
27,
Okay.
26, 27.
So you're racking your brain for like, do I need a sign? Do I need to look inside myself? Does somebody need to tell me? Is this the right time to?
And then right when that happened, Nick one kick. I didn't even realize this until a couple years ago that he was the same guy that got me into kickboxing, got me into MMA. He comes up to me. He goes to me. He's like, Chuck, Alfie says you're pretty good at wrestling. I said, yeah. Do you want to do a mixed fight? I'm like, sure, why not? So I did.
You'd be a great improviser, by the way. You just
like,
yes and every fucking suggestion thrown your way.
He's like, I'll open it. Like it was an open hand slap. He was going to do one. It was at the Orleans in Vegas, in like one of their rooms.
Yeah.
You know, and they were doing mostly kickboxing, but they're going to do 3 open hand fights. I wound up kicking the guy in the head and knocking him out. He went down, you know, straight face first. And a guy on the side said, "Hey man, do you want to fight in the UFC?" Like a guy afterwards comes up to me, "Hey, you want to fight?" I said, "Sure, I'd love to fight in the UFC." So they asked me. I invited me to fight in UFC 17, and I started fighting mixed martial arts fights. And
holy shit!
And I fell in love with the sport, and you know, I started learning jiu-jitsu with John Lewis. And
how were you wrestling in college? Did that skill?
I was decent. I mean, I was one of those guys. I was a Division I wrestler, and I was about 50-50. I'm a 50-50 wrestler, but I was tough. I was a scrapper. I'm hard to score points on.
Yeah.
I was one of those guys. I'm really hard to score points on. I'm really hard to beat up real bad, but I mean, I never got to the point where I couldn't break into, like, you know, making anything happen.
Now, when you're bartending on the side, is there ever, because, you know, this is in California where a lot of bartenders are, you know, young, pretty girls. There's dudes. I don't think I've ever seen a bartender that looks like you. How did that go down for people that you were serving? Because you're a friendly, charismatic dude, so I feel like that part you had down. But was there like, was it like a Cheers type spot for people? Did you get to know everyone?
Well, I get to know everyone, and I'm real friendly.
Yeah.
I'm really easygoing. Plus, I'm good at watching people, and I don't like people to fight. I don't like people to get hurt. I don't like people. If you don't want to fight, I don't want to. And I used to tell my guys, because some door guys, a lot of my guys that trained at my gym later were working at the door. They kind of want fights to happen because they want to show that they can take care of it.
Yes.
I'm like, look, I'm working here. I do not want. It's almost like the Roadhouse thing. Like girls don't come to places where there's fights. And here on the other side of that, guys that spend money don't come places that aren't girls. Okay.
Yes. Wow.
So
That's good
I'm
math.
a bartender.
Yeah.
I want tips.
Yeah.
Good-looking girls equals guys equals tips.
I don't want to serve shots to guys that just want to fight other guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Because those guys aren't tipping you.
No.
They don't care.
No. They're going to be knocked out and lose their wallet, and then no one's going to make money.
Right.
Also, the girls that you want at a bar aren't the ones that want to support guys who are just fighting for no reason,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And so, I was always really good at it. I could spot fights starting from behind the bar, and half the time it'd take me throwing a piece of ice at someone. Hey guys, come on, you go that way. You go that way. Come on.
Did the Iceman just throw a piece of ice at me?
But it's like, and I used to come up to people. I break up fights all the time, and guys are always you get in the middle of something, and you're like, okay, want to explain to me what he did wrong? I'm like, look, I don't care. If you want to take care of what he did wrong, go see him afterwards somewhere. Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Do it somewhere. You do it here, it's my problem.
Yeah.
Just do me a favor. Don't do it here.
Wow.
Take care of it somewhere
Look at
else.
you peer mediating.
And for them, they can turn around because people knew me. And I was known as a tough guy, so they're like, "Oh, Chuck. I was going to kick that guy's ass, but Chuck asked me not to, so I'm just going to be cool."
Chuck asked me not to. By the way, that could be the name of this podcast.
But the funny thing is, and that makes them, and because look, man, I don't know if you've been around guys that are fighters.
Yeah.
If we're yapping at each other, yelling at each other, talking shit for a couple minutes, you don't want to fight. You're not a fighter.
Yeah.
That's not a guy that wants to fight. I don't want to fight.
Right.
If you don't want to fight, if you two wanted to fight, if I want to really break it down, if I want to say it the right way, if you two wanted to fight, you would have already fought already. You both.
It happens like that, huh?
Especially here in Hollywood, like people are so funny. Like it doesn't happen that fast here, but the people here are so funny because I go out, like you finally get to the point where you go, okay, man, let's go. Like or one of my buddies, okay, you guys, all right, man, I'm done. Let's go outside.
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa, what happened? What happened?
Yeah,
You committed a
Wait,
fighting.
outside? They're asking questions just to delay it.
You're like, you committed a fighting. What are you surprised about? You committed a fighting offense 20 minutes ago. This is.
Well, I've long said that if you're patient enough, like guys, if they go back and forth, it's taunting and questions, and then maybe a friendship blossoms where it's like, you bumped my shoulder, bro. What's up? It's like, not much, man. I can swivel these shoulders wherever I want. Yeah, well, it fucking hurt. Well, I didn't know that, dude. Well, what happened to your shoulder? Well, I had shoulder surgery from softball. Oh shit, do you play co-ed or is it on the weekends? And then like they get to know each other, but like because they want to delay the inevitable.
But and then that's the thing. Like, look, I feel like neither one of you wants to fight. Just stop. No one quit.
And people must respect the fact that a guy your size and as tough as you, if you're saying chill out, then they're probably like, all right.
Yeah, but most of the time it's come on. He didn't do anything worth hitting him over. Like, sorry, it's like and if they do, it's like if you want to, we're talking about that kind of fighting stuff. They cross that line it's like if you grew up with my friends, like you would have already been hit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to fight, if you really were that type of guy, you would already hit him. You're not. So stop acting like it. Right. Just relax.
Did you ever have to jump over the bar and truly get in the middle because maybe the door guy was outmatched or?
Oh, I jumped over the bar a few times. Yeah.
Wow.
And I always had that thing. For the most part, we were able to break stuff up without punches being thrown. But if someone threw a punch at one of the door guys, it was on. Like
that's all it took.
Well, if you're, I mean, within reason, to the point we're going to stop you. We're not going to. I was never a guy that's going to hurt you.
Right.
Like, that's not saying. Like, I drop guys, but if I'm not going to jump on top of you and hit you.
Gotcha.
Like two of my really good friends in high school spent probably half their high school career in and out of jail.
Yeah.
Because for that one real problem was they didn't know when to stop.
Yeah.
Like I've probably been in as many fights or more than them. Never had any problems, thank God.
Because you contain.
But because I fight, guys done. I'm done. Like I let you get back up. Like
it's not Mike Tyson.
I've even had guys where I go to. I've had dropped a couple guys and they stood back up, and I started to go at them again, and I see in their eyes are not. I'm like, wait, he's not here. Just someone take him inside.
Yeah,
if he wants to fight later, bring him back out, but take him inside.
Yeah, I've had that a lot too. But that's one of those things where you go, all right, thank God I have that in me to where I can control myself. Like I've always said too, if someone makes fun of my mom or my calves, I'll fucking end their life. That's a joke. You can make fun of my mom, but I think there's something about getting to a point to where you know your power, like you do, and then being able to just still stay focused. Because if you'd gotten in one bar fight like that and let your emotions get the best of you, you probably don't have a career, because you probably do go to jail for something or become a different person.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things. I mean, but and most guys that I used to always laugh. Like we were at a party one time. It was back in the day in Vegas. We were out there, and my buddy had a bunch of the girls from Club Paradise came over to his house, and they had a party. And there's a couple of dudes like wrestling in the living room, and some of the girls come. I mean, man, hey, are those real fighters over there? I'm like, no. See that guy sitting in the jacuzzi with the two girls? That's a fighter. That guy talking to that girl over there having a drink. That's a fight. He fights in the UFC. Yeah,
hilarious.
Those two jackasses.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they live in the garage down the street. Yeah,
I've never seen them.
Of course, that's how it goes. Okay, so now you get. So you have to make a commitment to go. I'm gonna now do MMA. Yeah, and get you got asked to do that, and now it's what changes in your life or your mindset as far as like, okay, cool, I'm gonna. Quit bartending, right? And
no, I was still bartending.
Still bartending.
I just kind of moved on. I mean, I got $1,000. I mean, I got $1,000 to show up and be an alternate. Now I had a chance of getting in a tournament, but they made 10 or 20 grand for first and second place.
Yeah,
but that was all. It wasn't a lot of money. I mean, shoot, my first offer for a year deal for the UFC was Dana fielded it actually. He was first my manager. What was it 2-2, 3-3, and 4-4, and he's like, I think that either that was a 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, but anyway, that was the offer, and he's like, what am I gonna do with this? Like, you just sign a 3-fight deal that totals out at $12,000 or whatever it is. Like,
I wouldn't even do that.
Yeah, like this makes no sense. So he sent it back to him, and I fought in a different show, knocked the guy out, and then came back and got a better deal. But
so Dana was instrumental in the whole. So MMA.
Dana at that point was my manager.
Gotcha.
He managed Cito, he managed me, he managed a few other people, and then when he got with the Fertittas, they bought the UFC, and then he moved to being president, and he couldn't be a manager anymore.
Because the UFC started in what 2000?
Oh no.
93.
93 was the first one.
Fuck. And your first fight in so how long is it going before your first?
98.
Gotcha.
98.
So you know of it, and now that's now a place where you can end up.
Well, no, it was one of those things like you always heard about it. Like you heard about it, people would tell these stories. Oh, there's a tournament here. My instructor went there, but he was hurting two people too bad, so they wouldn't use him. I used to hear that one all the time.
For real?
I still do. It's funny. But anyway, you still occasionally will hear someone tell that story now. I'm like, look, guys, it's not that hard to get into UFC. If you're that good.
Yeah.
And if you are that good, they're not going to not want you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Always probably looking for
sorry, guys. Sorry.
I turned him down. I did a lot of other things going on.
Yeah, I just
learned the French horn and some other things. Gardening takes a lot of time.
Yeah. But you'd always hear these things about how to get into it, and no one knew. Hey man, I'd tell them, hey, well, tell me where to go. I'll go try. I'll try out because Lorenzo Neal's a friend of mine.
Oh yeah.
Fullback.
Yeah.
For the Chargers back in the day, and he used to go to me, man, come on, why don't you do this, man? You're a street fighter, you're a wrestler. Oh man, you'd be great. He was like, we got to get you in there. We got to get you in the UFC, and it's pretty funny.
Because if you don't, it's same thing with like comedy and acting. If I had nobody tied to the business, so I had no wherewithal of like, how do I start? What's the first move?
Yeah, and back then there wasn't a lot of it. You didn't know what to do, like how to get in. It was just kind of one of those things.
Because I don't think it really. What year do you think? Because you say you started in '93, and I was
look,
11 then.
Ultimate Fighter, we shot it in 04.
Right.
And then 05 when it was aired and it took off.
That's okay. Yeah.
That's when the UFC really.
I think that's
took
why
off.
I feel like that was like the starting point. But it was
that's when
planting
it really
the seeds
took off.
before then.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you start to just become part of that whole world, is it exciting because you know that you're building something from the ground up and you're with people that like, and it hasn't totally popped yet?
That's funny. You talk about it. That we don't know anything. We didn't think it would pop like this. I thought it would be here someday, because I thought it was the greatest sport in the world. But I thought it would take us a lot longer. The Ultimate Fighter really launched us so much faster. I went from being able to walk around and go like, okay, that guy by what they're wearing, that guy probably knows who I am. That guy probably knows.
What do those guys look like?
They have a tap out shirt on. Ultimate. They got some other fight shirts on. Or like
big dudes.
They look like they're in shape.
Yep.
And they look like they train somewhere. And
where they were like the guys that look like
wrestlers, or
they want to look like they're in shape to where if you see them at like a Whole Foods and you're like, "Yo, you got my back," they'd be like, "Yeah, Chuck, let's do it." Right?
Yeah. And so it's easy to pick those people out.
Gotcha.
So after that show, just after that simple first season of that show, I had old ladies coming up to me at the mall,
just playing with themselves in front of you. What's up? Yeah,
not that. But
later, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Anyway,
for sure, dude.
But they're going up. Hey, I'm a big fan. A great fight last night or the other night. And I'm like,
you're watching.
I'm like, wait, you saw me fight?
Yeah.
But it was crazy. It went from it exploded.
Did you
overnight.
enjoy that? And did Dana or anyone give you guys a prep for that? Did they see what was about to happen and they're like, "Yo, your life's getting ready to change." So maybe
no one knew what was going to happen. No one knew. They didn't know. They were. I mean, I think they were on the way I understood. They were on their last. That was their last kind of ditch effort to try to launch the sport. I think they were invested $40+ million. They'd sunk into it, trying to get it off the ground. And
wow.
And that's the thing that took off. And they had to film. They had to pay for that whole show. They didn't help them out, which worked out for them in the long run.
Fuck yeah.
They had full ownership of it.
Right.
Instead of having someone sharing it with the network, they paid for it themselves. So they had full ownership of it. So
hey guys, Adam Ray here for the About Last Night podcast. Hope you're enjoying this episode. Obviously, it's a very difficult time for everyone right now. We're all challenged in finding a day-to-day routine that makes our lives consistent and awesome. And if there's something that's interfering with your happiness right now or preventing you from achieving your goals, BetterHelp Online Counseling is there for you. BetterHelp is a professional counseling service, online, private, and it's so convenient. I've used it for a little bit now. It's truly the only way that I've found to help get my own issues dealt with on my own time, at my own pace. You can schedule secure video or phone sessions, plus chat and text with your licensed professional counselor right now. They're specialized in depression, anger, stress, anxiety, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief or relationships, sleeping, which I have a lot of trouble with, trauma, self-esteem. Anything that you share with them is confidential. And guess what? If you're not happy with your counselor for any reason, at any time, you can request a new one for no additional charge. There's 3,000 U.S. licensed therapists across all 50 states, available worldwide. And again, there's 4 ways to communicate with them: text, chat, phone, and video. You can start communicating in under 24 hours. It's available on any desktop, mobile web, Android, and iOS apps. Schedule a video or phone session, generally weekly, unless your therapist schedules more. Unless you just are really not sleeping and need to get some additional chats in. There's broad expertise in the network, which may not be locally available in many areas. Financial aid is available for those who qualify. It's secure, it's convenient, it's professional, and above all, it's affordable. All right, it's truly the most affordable option I found. So right now, All ALN listeners are going to get 10% off your first month with a discount code AboutLastNight. So why not get started today and start making some changes for the better in your life? You deserve it. So go to BetterHelp.com/AboutLastNight. Simply fill out a questionnaire to help them assess your needs and get matched with a counselor that you'll love. That's BetterHelp.com/AboutLastNight. BetterHelp.com/AboutLastNight and get 10% off your first month with promo code AboutLastNight. And now, back to the episode.
Did you keep did you keep your training kind of the same and consistent as things kind of took off, or did you kind of, with more success and notoriety and exposure, some guys will then maybe hire more guys or different guys? Or
no, we stayed old school for the most part. I mean,
Yeah.
I had some strength coaches come in and stuff, but guys I've been working with, like they changed over the years, but they were the same guys, same. The guy they learned from the same guy.
Gotcha.
From Fresno. So we used to keep working through.
Did you go back to San Luis Obispo and Cal Poly at some point to kind of speak to like your old wrestling team, or like what was that first?
I've done stuff like that a lot.
sure.
It was, and I lived in San Luis. I stayed there for 20 years. The whole time I was fighting. The whole time I was
wow.
fighting, I fought out of there. It was perfect. I mean, John lived up there. It's a perfect community for me for fighting. There's not a lot of distractions, and I knew everybody, and I was comfortable, and it was
People knew and kind of like let you do your thing, and
it was home. It was a great place to be.
okay, so your first big fight, right? Like the one that kind of like put you on the map. What would you say that?
I don't know. I don't know what that one was. I mean, I don't know which.
Which one felt the most? I don't know. I mean, again, like Iceman, no nerves, but like, which one do you feel like?
But like the first the UFC 17 when I was on TV, they played it downtown and slow. Like I gotta think people got to see me fight. People knew me there as a kickboxing.
Yeah.
And I'd been kickboxing, and they get you still make the local press, and I get some coverage from them. But that was first time some people got to watch me fight on TV. It was really cool.
What did your mom say to you? Was there a moment where she, watched a fight, or like the first thing she said to you, where it was like, "Boy, I'm sure glad I let your principal talk me into letting you kick the shit out of those lunch stealers." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
was there like, because that's
No,
crazy. She must have felt like she had a hand in that.
Oh yeah, for sure. But she always, it wasn't. I mean, I think she might have rather me be an accountant too. But
Yeah.
she was always very vocal about supporting whatever I wanted to do. She was really. My mom did a great job at teaching us to think for ourselves.
Yeah.
I just know she always wanted you to think for yourselves, and allowed us to argue with her and do stuff not in a disrespectful way, but we were allowed. It's like I don't see that with people. I mean, I guess I got that from my grandparents though too.
And so
respect was a big thing with my family, and respecting your elders and
Totally.
showing people respect, which I think a lot of people nowadays have. I've been saying it for a while. Common decency and common respect is just
Yeah, man.
gone out the window for a lot of people. It's
crazy.
Who,
It should be how we lead.
who raised you?
I know, man.
Like I've seen some of these things on protesting things where I see people treating people certain ways, and I'm like, I don't care what side you're on.
Yeah, man.
How can you watch that?
It's really as simple as that.
I mean, I don't care what side you're on what you're. Because I'm one of those people. You can have your own beliefs. I'm one of those live and let live. Like if we can agree to disagree on things.
If you're leading with respect, if you are engaging with someone and you have, you're not on the attack, but you're trying to understand.
And I'm willing to learn
Yeah.
too. Like if you can convince me,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty set in my ways.
Yeah.
I'm 50 years old. I've been around a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
I've been through a lot. And
Was your mom so I was raised by a single mom, and so what was
a single mom?
Yeah.
My dad left when I was 3, but we moved in with my grandparents. We kind of moved around for a little bit, but then we were in some assisted housing. Then we moved to try to get me in a better place because we were too much trouble down there. And then
so it was you, mom, and grandparents?
no, it was me and my mom. Well, after I was 8, we moved in with my grandparents.
Gotcha.
So I was 8. Actually, we had my great grandma in a 4-bedroom. We had great grandma in one room, my grandma and grandpa in one room,
Dude, you were like Charlie Bucket and Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory.
My mom and my sister in one room, and then me and my two brothers in one room.
Holy shit!
But it was a great family. I had a great,
Do you? People often ask me this because my dad left when we were 9, and so it was my mom and sister and I. And my mom at one point wanted to move us to Oklahoma to be with her parents to have that same thing of like more help for sure, right? Like and more parental guidance and people to look up to, right? Especially in the dude department because. I don't know what your mom, if she got back out there, but my mom, it took her a minute, and she's like, she wanted an immediate like male presence, and she was like, Grandpa can be that, but just more help, and having siblings, I'm sure helped. But
it's true, but and my grandfather stepped in and became my father figure. I mean, I idolized my grandfather.
Wow.
What
did he do?
He was a retired sheriff's coroner.
That's right.
Yeah, but he was just he's just a solid guy. He was one of those guys. He's very principled, very stand up for anybody.
Did he welcome the challenge of taking on more?
He was. Hey, I'm here. He was my
guy.
Yeah, he went to all my sporting events, all my stuff, everything.
Huge, right? That's what. And your mom did that too, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. But And she was working full time and doing all her stuff. But whenever she couldn't work, they kept a good eye on us the whole time though too. Like there was never any alone time. Like my grandparents would take 2 weeks a year for vacation.
Yeah.
My mom would use those 2 weeks for her she'd take off school. She'd take off work for
that's huge.
Her vacation. So she'd be home while they're gone.
Wow.
There was always someone in our house.
That's big time. And brothers and sisters older?
I have an older sister and 2 younger brothers.
Gotcha. And how did you guys get along?
We all got along pretty good.
As much as you can. If you're around each other all the time, it's like.
I mean, we got along really well for stuff. I mean, we got in our fights and we got in, I never, I think I hit my brother once when he was, I hit him, my younger brother, I hit once when he was 19. He was out of yelling at my grandfather, and that's a whole.
Yeah.
That's I mean, I'm like, what are
you doing?
Like,
what are you yelling?
What are you thinking?
Crazy.
Like to me, because well, he's not alive today, but if he's alive today, I still wouldn't yell at him.
Yeah.
It's like
again, it's a respecting.
It's respecting for me, and
man.
that was the only things, but.
Did they see you start to excel in this world and kind of understand it, or because it's all so new, were they just like, "What are you doing? Why don't you be an accountant?"
No, when I was kickboxing, they said my grandma said that. My grandpa never did. He was always my grandpa. He told me, and I've said this on one other podcast thing. He told me when I was 19 years old.
Wait, hold on a second. You did another podcast?
No,
you cheating on me?
No. At my last show, I did. I was talking about it, and it got a big thing because I said I'm talking about Tyson.
Oh yeah.
Because my grandfather, when I was 19 years old, said, he told me, man, you can beat that guy. That Mike Tyson guy, you can beat him. And I laughed. I'm like, you're funny, Pops. All right, thanks, Pops.
You're like, are you talking about the same Mike Tyson?
I love your confidence, Pops. And that was, man, I was a huge Tyson fan. I'm like, okay, Pops. All right, Pops, whatever. And I think the cool thing is nowadays, it's a serious question. Who would win in a fight between me and Mike Tyson? Now, I'm not silly. I mean, I know I'm not going to outbox him. But in an MMA fight or in the street, he's got one punch on the way in. He misses, it's over.
Oh shit, dude! Soundbite City. That's gonna be my new email alert, by the way. You just saying that. That you're not wrong. If let's say you guys are at a fucking Round Table Pizza and Mike comes up and throws one and misses. What's your move?
I'm gonna take him to the ground and he'll never get back up. I'll do just a double leg. I'll just barrel through him.
Holy shit. You're taller than him for sure, yeah?
Yeah, but I mean, for me, like a guy that's never wrestled, and we're friends actually. I know him. I know Mike. He's a great guy. I met him back in the day. And
tell him to accept my Facebook friend request.
First time I ever met him, he came up and he was telling me, man, don't let those guys take advantage of you. Don't let those, I thought it was his big
Wait,
thing.
can you do the voice?
Yeah, he was doing. I don't do Mike very well.
Wait. So what did he say? I'll try to do it. I'll reenact the moment with you.
He was just saying, don't let those guys take advantage. Don't let those promoters.
Don't let those guys take advantage of you, man. They're different guys, man.
Yeah, exactly. Don't let those promoters take advantage of you. Don't let them do that.
Oh, so he was looking out for you?
Yeah, that's what he was saying. Like he was like telling me because I was world champ at the time, and he's like, yeah.
He's business savvy, I think, more so than people give him credit for. Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
And just fuck, dude. How do you not do what he's been doing as long as he has, and not, just have soaked up enough experience to be able to drive your own ship, right?
Right, and he does a great job of it. Like
Wait, so
he's
who
doing
brought
great.
up that you could beat him?
No, I just brought it because the reason the way I said the story was just talking about how my grandfather said that because it just came out because we were talking about my
It's
grandfather.
the same way my grandma always said, like, you're better than George Clooney. And I was like, all right, you're definitely not wrong. But she, in that supportive family member mindset, they're like.
And then the question was asked, was Mike going, was Ed was like, well, who'd win? Like, I was never going to say anything about that I'd win. I just thought it's funny that, nowadays it's a real question, like who'd win the fight between you and Mike.
Yes.
And then he's the one that poses up. So who do you think would win? I'm like, well, what are we doing? Are we boxing or are we fighting? I mean, I think
Holy
kickboxing
shit.
would be interesting.
Would he
I
ever?
mean, I think that because actually I was in negotiations with like Holyfield's people back. I don't remember what year, but they were talking to us about doing a kickboxing match with Holyfield, right? And I was like, sure, let's do it. I'm in because if I can kick his legs, if he doesn't know how to block leg kicks, I can destroy him. He's got one round to knock me out, and he's gonna have a hard time doing it while I'm kicking him in the legs and pushing kicks off him and not letting him get close enough. So it was funny, we said that, and then they came back and they said, okay, well, actually we'll do it, but no leg kicks. I'm like, well, it depends. If you guys are paying enough money, whatever, okay, no leg kicks. I can front kick him. I can kick him in the head, still kick him in the body. Okay, cool. Yeah, we can do that. And it was funny. I just about 2 years ago, I was talking to Boss Rutan about it, and I guess they were in negotiations with him too. And they just they kept changing the rules on him too. And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Hey man. And he's like, they could have gone to boxing. If they're paying enough money, I would have boxed them.
Right.
I mean, at the time, hey, what would I have to lose? Like, I'm going to fight one of the best heavyweight boxers all the time and get paid
Make
a lot
some
of money
cash, yeah.
and I maybe win, maybe lose, but
Is it
I got nothing to lose.
I was gonna say what money talks for sure, but what Conor McGregor just came out and said who was it?
Pacquiao.
Yeah. Now is that because they both for the sport of it and for the challenge, also probably for the cash?
For the cash.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
At this point, right?
At that point, like when he fought Mayweather, he's a boxer. Like he never boxed. Conor's not a boxer. He's not. There wasn't. I mean, I don't think he had much of a chance of winning that at all. I mean, I actually thought he did a great job hung in there great, and he took.
How would you have approached that? Would you, if you had a chance to talk with him and maybe give him some, or
there wasn't much. I mean, I think they had a lot of control over what he did. Like me personally, I probably would have gone and picked him up and slammed him right away. I would dropped him on his head and take a warning. Take a warning for that one.
You're right. My bad.
Sorry. Make him worry and maybe do it one more time.
Yeah.
And get another warning. Take a point. But just to get worried about it,
amazing. Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean,
because they're not going to end the fight. They want it to continue. You think they're going to end it that quickly if you do something like that?
Yeah.
What do you think? Like your signature? I mean, your kicks were fucking, dude, like demonstrative. I mean, and even seeing the fight. I don't know how to pronounce it. Does Israel? What's his?
Adam Carolla.
Yeah. I mean, that fucking kick to Costa's face was pretty.
Nice, slick. I mean, yeah, I think that fight. My thing with that was I think Costa. I think it was game. A lot of it was game plan too. Like it was a problem. I mean, they got in his head. Someone got in his head that you can't come after Israel because Adam Carolla likes. He likes to counterfight.
Yeah.
So I thought this could be a great fight because Costa likes to come forward. Izzy likes to counterfight. So it's going to be an action-packed fight. They're going to get after it. I think someone talked to me into not coming forward and not coming after it. And that's the worst thing you do with a guy like him. Like Izzy.
That has a kick in his arsenal like that?
He's technical, and for a guy like Costa who stands in a boxing stance, like this is a big thing for me. Like he stands in a boxing stance, more of a boxing set, solid boxing stance where he can throw heavy hands and throw power. The problem is you're not going to be fast enough to pick that leg check up. It's going to be hard if you're not initiating the move to pick that leg kick up.
Right.
So I mean, I have one move I really like for that. Like if you got a guy doing that to you, to help stop him kicking at you like that. But I don't know that it would have changed anything. I think it might help him a little bit, but I think I would I don't know that the outcome would be different.
Yeah.
But I'd really like to see the fight over again with Costa coming forward and going after him the way he fights. He needed to fight his fight, and not fight to not lose to Israel.
Gotcha.
I thought he was fighting in a style where he didn't want to lose to Izzy, get caught coming in. I don't want to get caught coming in, and he just sat outside and got eaten alive. Because I told it's when Randaman was fighting. He was going out there to fight. And one of his fights, and I told him, this guy's a leg kicker. You're going to go out there, and he's going to leg kick. He's going to leg kick you if you stand in leg kick distance.
Which is what about?
Well, when it's just out of range of punches, but you still get kicked, and you're flat footed like you are. He's going to eat your legs alive. And you know, you got to be all the way in or all the way out.
Right. You're in no man's land.
Yeah, if you're standing in kicking range and you're standing in a boxing stance in kicking range, you're gonna get kicked in the leg.
What is the proper stance to defend if you're in kicking range?
You have to have your leg almost more like a kickboxer. Right. Guy, a little lighter front foot, so you can block and check. Yeah.
Can you really block once that kick is coming? Like when you're looking to plan it,
you can block it. Yeah.
But is there a point when you know, just based on like when you're starting to swing, that you're gonna connect and that's gonna be that, or is it really just? I mean, you're reacting.
You throw it in a way. You throw it and hopefully it goes through the right way. You throw it.
Are you planning them out in a certain like how much? What's going through your head?
It's
like
timing and setting people up. You're trying to get like a guy like Izzy. I'm sure he sets you up and he's seeing tendencies. When I do this, he does this.
Gotcha.
When I do this, he does this. Okay, I'm gonna do that again, but this time I'm doing this instead of this. And he's gonna he's thinking I'm doing that again, and I'm gonna do this. So, and he hides it, makes it look the same, but then it comes up, it floats up high. You know,
so you're trying to throw him off with like different patterns.
You're trying to throw him off different patterns. You're setting people up, and he's a guy that fills you out. He fills you out. And I thought the first round he was filling him out, seeing what he was going to let him do, what his idea was. I mean, as Costa's corner, it looked like his leg was done after the first round.
Oh yeah.
The way he took a flat foot walk to the corner, where I'm like, man, that leg's not going to last much longer. If he doesn't cut, he needs to come at him, and knock him out. He needs to come after him.
How do you think the no fan experience is? Does it take away? I mean, obviously you never had to experience that, but does it, from a viewing perspective? Obviously, most sports right now are just weird, but
that's a weird thing. I
feed off it, right?
You know what? I haven't really talked to anyone that had to do it yet. I haven't really asked them about it. I meant to ask a couple guys about that, but I'm really interested to hear what they think, and because I could see guys getting stuck in like a sparring partner syndrome out there, like I'm just out there sparring, but which might help some people, might relax them more.
Maybe kind of not having the noise, right? Like maybe might allow you to not be as distracted, or
maybe I don't know. I always liked it walking out, but I did fight in Japan. I fought in front of 18,000 people.
Is it the biggest crowd?
Maybe, I don't know. I know what but that one, there's 18,000 people. But when you're fighting, I mean, you could talk to your corner guy, because they're quiet. They like if you pass a guard or something big happens, they'll go, ooh, quiet.
Okay, so it's not it's not constant screaming the whole time.
No, but I was watching Dan Henderson fight, and I'm up on that thing. I got my headphones on, and my buddy's saying, I'm screaming, kill him, yeah. My buddy goes, he's tapping me. He's like, hey, what?
Yeah, the fight hasn't started.
Hey, they can hear you. I'm like, I was Leo, and you could hear me in the ring. Like, I mean, I could talk because it was so quiet. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Do you enjoy to go watch fights? Like once you retire?
Oh, I love watching fights. Yeah. It's different too for me, because people always ask, like if I watch fights in two different ways. There's part of me sometimes I watch, if you want me to break down fights and figure out who's doing what and what they're doing, I have to rewatch it. because I watch fights to be entertained. Like I like fight. I like watching fights.
Yeah.
And you can
So you don't
see-
want to sit with somebody that's going to be asking you questions the whole time about like, what'd you think? You would just want to enjoy it.
I don't mind. I don't mind answering questions if you ask me, and that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But because I have to switch my mind to think about what they're doing.
Analyze it.
Analyze it, because like if I'm watching one of my buddies fight, I'm trying to analyze and try to figure out how I can help them win
Oh,
the fight.
cool. Yeah.
But if I'm not, I'm watching it like, okay, come on. I mean, you can see me like people like, did you just cheer for both guys like different times? I'm like,
I'm a fan.
I want action.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to see these guys get after it.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
Hey, what the best man win? I don't. I'm just,
What would you compare the energy in the buildings for those fights? Like, is it like an
they've-
Oprah taping?
They've never, kind of like that, almost. Not quite.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Little less blood.
But honestly, like I always said, they've never been able to. If you've never seen it in person,
I haven't.
They've never been able to put the energy that's at an event on TV at all.
Holy shit.
The energy at an event it's electric at especially some of the bigger places with bigger fan bases. Obviously Vegas always, but like Canada, any of the fights in Canada. I've never been down to Australia, but I hear that's pretty crazy.
I'm
too.
going there in a couple weeks. Is there?
Well, I've been to Australia. I haven't been there for a fight.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah. Well, if you want to come down with me, maybe we could just get in a street fight on the corner. You could have my back. We can make it look like it was planned. You could jump it. Yeah. Yeah. You seem really on board with this idea.
Hey,
We got to work out the kinks.
Depends.
Yeah. See what you're doing on the weekend. Is there something? I want to ask you a question. I made a note on this. What was, because obviously your whole career afforded you these other opportunities, which I don't know if it was a part of the plan. Like we were just talking pre-show about a movie that was in the works, and I mean, from Punk'd to Entourage, Workaholics. I don't know if that was like a dream of yours or just like a cherry on top, or if it's not even exciting because you're treating it like just a fun thing. You're like, yeah, let me go do this. And
it just kind of happened. Well, Entourage was only like the one I actually went after. I was a big fan of Entourage. I used to watch it every Sunday.
Yeah.
I'd be out traveling. I'd look for someone to go watch it.
Yeah.
Right when it aired.
Wasn't it like one of the last shows? At least for me,
it was the last show for me where I actually went and watched it on time.
Yes,
I watch it.
I missed that
every week on time.
Yeah.
And I said, look, man, I asked everybody I knew, and that might be able to talk to somebody that had to do with it. I want to come on and say hi to Vince, because they always had those cameos. Hey, so and so, one of those things.
So
that's
cool.
all I wanted.
Yeah, just a
I just want a cameo.
crosswalk.
I just, hey, what's up, man? Like that. I just want to be on my show, my favorite show. And the funny thing is, it's Hollywood, so like everybody I asked took credit from getting me on the show.
Oh my God! Of course,
but I was thankful to whatever. Whoever I got it, I don't care.
I'm sure Wahlberg was a fan. Like, you want to come on the show? That's fine. Just you want me to say hi to your mother for you? Like, I'm sure he was all about it, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think Dana talked to him for me.
Gotcha.
I think that might have been actually how it actually happened. But
it was such a good episode.
But they
too.
also they went, well, why don't we write him in? Like, because that was a
instead of a cameo.
Instead of that, they did that Punk'd episode
Yes.
kind of thing. Like, it was like Punk'd, like you
Yes.
got. I think they originally had. I think the writer told me they originally had a different skit for him. Like, but You Got was different, right?
Wow.
But they're like, oh, what's his Ram Chuck? Why don't we use him for the prank? And this works, and worked it in, and it was awesome. It turned out amazing.
Did you enjoy just the hours of a shoot, or was it?
Oh, it was cool. It was fun.
Are you so like not?
The funny thing too, the second day was the longest day they ever shot on that. Like the second day I shot it.
Yeah.
And I was there, and I got wrapped, and it was right before the craft services was leaving, right?
Yeah. The saddest part of the day.
Just about they're about to have dinner, and I was done like about 10 minutes before they were going to be ready to start serving, and they're like, and I'm like, I'm going to get out of here before try to get out, miss some traffic, and they're like, hey, this prime rib is really good. You might want to stick around. I said, all right, you got me. I'll stick around. I stick around. Best prime rib I've ever had. I wish I knew what the craft services was that day, so I could request it next time I did something. It was the best prime rib I've ever had, and I'm a fan of prime rib. So I was really happy I stayed. But
yeah.
But now as I've done a lot of stuff, I've learned that craft services and stuff.
Not always that great.
No, it kind of goes with what show you're on.
Network, HBO, yeah. Well, if you're on at that time, that show was might have been the biggest show on TV.
Yeah, it was. They was amazing.
HBO had it figured out on Sunday nights with that. I think it was like Curb, Entourage were maybe back to back.
Yeah.
That's dope. Is there okay? Well, you gotta answer me this. What was tougher, learning the two-step to boot, scoot, and boogie on Dancing with the Stars, or your 2018 fight against Tito Ortiz?
You know, the dancing was always hard. It was for me. For me, it was like I'm used to telling my body what to do, and it just does it. And you know, and it didn't. It was just not with that. It was effort. There was a lot of effort to trying to get those moves and kind of.
Because people probably assume if you're an athlete and you're quick on your feet that it should translate. But
but it just getting thinking, remembering to do things. It was like it was tough. I mean, it was. But it was a fun experience. I had a good time doing it. It was.
Did you ever feel though like pressure from it and be like, how am I so cool and calm in the ring, and I'm actually getting anxious for this?
I would, because I just didn't want to let, because I was that thing. I didn't want to let her down. I didn't want to mess up the, because if I make mistakes, it makes it harder for her to fix it. And it was. I didn't want to. I wanted to do good for her.
And that's a new dynamic, because usually it's just you out there, and now you have somebody else that you have to.
Yeah, you're performing with, and you don't want to mess her up, and you want to make it look good. So but it was a good experience. Overall.
Well, we're at about an hour. It's felt great.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's good
cool.
chat. I feel like we just kind of scratched the surface too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if there's are you a big quote guy? Are you a big, like, I'm always curious, and I think this is one thing that your fans would be like real into. Like, are there, when you wake up or when you go to bed, is there like, and this was something that I was thinking about, because I've just, especially during this time when so much shit has gotten shut down, and like things that you have consistent in your routine. For me, stand up, obviously, it's like people are trying to figure out outdoor shows or drive-in shows, because clubs and theaters are just kind of struggling to be open right now, and finding things to kind of latch onto word-wise that are just to get inspired. Where do you get your inspiration from? I guess
for me, what I used to do is like each it'd be different for training camp, but I put up stuff. Like I put up.
Oh, you would?
I'll put up stuff on my mirror, and I usually write things to things. I think one of the main ones that stayed on there for forever, right? After the first fight the Fertitas did, old story, but I've never told the story, so I don't know if. I think I said I wouldn't say who said it or who did, but I used to have up on my board, "No one likes to watch Chuck fight," was one of my quotes.
Whoa.
And it was from someone inside the organization
that said it.
Pushing for them not to extend my contract or whatever they were trying to do. But that was one of the things that one of the people in there, and that was on my board every time for the rest of my career.
And that drove you.
That drove me. Okay.
See, I used to have.
See what you can do.
That's what I'm talking about. I used to have nobody thinks you're funny, but that was just from my dad, and I thought that was the last thing actually he said before he bounced.
That's fun.
Yeah. Okay, yeah,
that's funny.
That was a joke, but yeah, it was I guess sometimes, see, this is what's interesting too about just like doing a chat like this, getting people's, and I feel like we've been on the same page comedy wise a lot, but it's like learning people's sensibilities with comedy and like what's joking. And sometimes for me, I'll say things in such a straight face that I sometimes then have to. It's like when you're texting, if you don't add a smiley face.
Hey, that's for me. Like, it's terrible. Like texting is terrible because like
there's no tone.
There's no tone, and they don't they take stuff wrong. I'm like, look.
Are you always busting balls in a text?
No, if I'll do that, but I've gotten better about not doing it because people get silly. Like, I'm one of those people. Like, people get too. I don't know. People just get too soft, like stuff. I got my wife will go, hey man, hey, how come you haven't responded better to he thinks you're mad at him or something. What? I responded to his text.
Yeah.
But you just said yes. I'm like,
what do I got? Send a fucking heart emoji?
I'm like. Look, you know me.
Yeah.
If I responded to your text, I like you.
Yes.
Because if I don't like you, I won't even bother to respond.
Yeah.
And can you please tell them? If you have to ask me if I'm mad or not, I'm not mad.
I know, right?
It's like if you got to ask me, trust me. If we have a problem, I will let you know.
Yeah. I'll show up to your house, hold a boombox over my head. People are so greedy.
I'll knock on the door. Hey. Hey, bro.
Yeah. I'll probably
Wait,
drop
wait.
a fridge on your head. You'll know. Yeah, people really want that extra, especially I would assume from you. It's like, people, don't be so needy for like extra response. Like, yes, for a response for whatever it is. And also, we're all doing our shit, man. Like, who really wants to sit in a 10-minute back and forth text? You know what I'm saying? Like, and if it's that important, pick up the phone and call.
Exactly. And how about the one that like they're trying to go back and forth with your texting, and then you're like, call them, like, and they don't answer. I'm like, look, look here, asshole.
Yeah. Well, I know. I should mention this too. I was telling you last night when we were talking, and you have that waiting music that was like, please wait, enjoy this music while your party's being reached, which, by the way, I just love that you have that. And then it was like, dun, 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 like some sweet symphony music. And I was like, I would expect, like, I love when I hear that, because first of all, the music was great and very soothing and set me up for a nice chat. But I was like, I would assume that if we were playing like Family Feud and the question was like, name the top 3 rings that are going to be, or the music that's going to be on the holding music on Chuck Liddell's answering machine, I would expect the top 3 to be like the sound of blood squirting from a back, or some AC/DC, or just a fucking car screeching before it runs into a 7-Eleven. But it was a fucking sweet surprise. And you said that you just...
Mine used to, I just forgot to read it up, and I had it as Hell's Bells for
that
the
makes
longest
sense.
time. And that was because I love that song it was from a street fight when we were kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we went back to this dorm, and my buddy's younger brother got beat up by a bunch of guys from this dorm, and so we went to that dorm and we found the guys and just hammered them in the dorm.
Holy shit!
And then we left, and when we were leaving, somebody went out and opened up their window and put on a bang. So you hear that
while the fight was
cloud as they're running out to come fight us. Like, you hear the Hell's Bells. It was like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, the
And they look
soundtrack
around.
to the ass whooping.
And so they come out, and then we start fighting guys, a bunch of guys, and then it kind of breaks. And just get out of here. So we get in my car, and it's my old Ford Fairmont station wagon, my grandfather's actually.
Nice.
And so we're driving off with all my buddies, and someone kicks in the taillight, right? As we're leaving, and when I got out, we didn't know who they took off. And I actually ran into that guy about 4 years ago, and he came up to me and said, man, I was scared the rest of the time at UCSB because I thought they told me you were coming after me to kick my ass and this and that. I'm like, bro, I didn't even know who you were back then. Like, cause I had no idea
dude.
where we were.
You're just going to fight.
But they kept saying that guy you kicked in his tail, he's looking for you right now, like, because we'd come back before to beat up the other guy. So they thought, and it wasn't me. No one knew who I was back then. I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was I think I was in high school when that happened, or I was just in college, and I was like 18 or 19 when it happened. Maybe 17.
Weirdly, the dream for I think a lot of dudes to just be like, somebody in your group gets fucked with, and you're like, we're all going over tonight to fucking fuck them up. Like, when I was in high school and college, I was doing plays and shit, and there was definitely not an opportunity to just go beat the shit out of somebody. It was like, let's go over to Mike's house and help him learn his lines because the show's tomorrow, So that's cool, man. Maybe someday I'll get to live that out. Well, this was fun as fuck, dude.
Cool.
Guys, thanks for listening. Pound it out, dude. Fuck yeah. See, and I wanted to pound it out because I was like, that's a cool way to end the show on a pound out. But also, I wanted to see just how hard your friendly pound was. And that was fucking tough. I think I just broke 2 of my knuckles. I saw a video of you real quick. Some Australian guy that like wanted to get punched by you. Do you remember doing that?
Which one?
Which one?
Yeah.
Great fucking answer. That is... oh, shit, dude. Which Australian guy wanted you to punch him? Long hair. It was like he had a fisheye camera on a lot of the shots, but he showed it in slow-mo a lot. Surfer dude.
He's not from...
not Australia. New Zealand?
He's from...
Korean? Was he just bad with accents?
I can't think of his name right now. Like, why am I drawing a blank?
Yeah. Blonde hair.
Yeah.
Looked like Tom Petty's brother.
I did a mountain climbing show with him.
Yes.
I'll think of his name in a second. It's going to come to me right after it's over.
Anyway, that punch looked like...
that was funny.
Yeah, dude. That was like, and super brave. And I was like, what a great...
The funny thing is, his manager calls me up and goes, hey, man, or his buddy or his assistant, actually, calls me up and goes, hey, can you come over? Luca wants you to knock him out, Luca.
Yeah.
Wants you to knock him out. I'm I'm like, look, I don't know that I can do that.
play Super Mario?
I'm like, I don't really do that. That's like, because here's the thing: if you do that, and I'm doing it on camera, and you go out there and you ask me to knock him out, you put me on blast, right?
Yes.
So now I can't just tap you and see if you go out. I'm going to hit you as hard as I can, right? So if I don't know how good a punch
he
you
can
can
take.
take.
And
Some guys can take
practice
a
it?
really good punch, and there's guys you can jab in the face and they fall down. You know, there's guys you
probably
hit
that
the head
guy.
with a brick,
Yeah.
and they'll still be standing. So I'm gonna try to. If they're telling me to knock him out, so I was like nervous coming over. I was actually like, I don't want to hurt him.
Yeah,
like
man.
I don't want to do this, but he does that kind of that crazy kind of a jackass kind of
Yes,
show.
yeah.
And
So he wanted to get hurt.
so I wasn't sure what he was, and like I got there, I was so relieved when he said, "Oh no, that's not what I was." I was just saying, "I want you to hit me, just don't hurt me."
Yeah.
'Cause, like, I was like, "Thank God." Like, Like I'm funny that I'm the one going, "Thank God," but I'm like, I did not want to hurt you.
Yeah. Well, you gave him enough of a punch for sure that he, you know, especially seeing it in slow mo.
Well,
That was the
there
best.
was enough in the slow mo. I mean, that didn't feel good. I'm sure. But, I mean,
Yeah. That's so funny. It was probably like I mean, you didn't even feel like you gave him
I
your.
wasn't. No, I wasn't trying to hurt. I wasn't trying to hurt him. I just wanted enough to make the face.
Isn't that
make it
crazy?
look
Just
good.
like a 20% punch from you is still enough to probably end somebody's life.
I don't know about that, but
Yeah.
yeah. You never know. You never know.
It's cool that you were down for that, man. That speaks to your just like, again, I think it's why a show like this is cool for the people that get to see like the fun side of you, right? Which it's like a lot of people who don't do their research and see all the cool shit you've done entertainment wise and goof wise, see this tough fucking locked in dude.
You know, it works for me too, though. Like people expect me to be such a dick for some reason.
Yeah.
That if I'm just normal, they tell them, "Oh man, he was so nice."
Isn't that
I'm like,
awesome?
what did I do?
That's
I didn't-
kind of awesome.
I'm like, what did I do? Like I
You
said
hold
hi.
a door for someone.
I
like,
said
you
hi.
didn't fucking kill me. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna slam the door in my back. And yeah. That's so funny. Well, thanks for doing this, man. This was fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Fuck yeah. Thanks for listening, guys.